Okay, so we will do an activity today. So far, what we have learned is radioactive decays, alpha, beta, gamma, right? And how these radiations interact with matter, right? What happens, ionization, excitation. So now, and I also mentioned that these ionizing radiation, if it is outside, betas can be dangerous and gammas, but inside alpha is really dangerous, right? So,
shall I translate first?
oh yes, forgot.
The very shocking Jala numbers of the Gede Segur Chandra, then a Gede Segula Rick Mangudo, Alpha, Beta, Kamalin, then the Chatan Gola Chandra. And if that Gede Segur, then the Gianni Subola and Nugan Chitanya Chigi, when any Gede Segur, Nugan Chitanda, and Nangan when in Nugu Chitanroa. That did that day with Terin Yabla and Galagi Jeguch, Jala number 2. Jimmy Shuenisa. Yeah.
Okay, so we know that ionizing radiation, it can alter the molecules within the cells of our body, and we know how, right? It can interact with the atoms of our cell, and it can deposit its energy there. So it's really dangerous. And I have mentioned here, like just showing the dangers of ionizing radiation. Alpha will be stopped by the clothes, but beta can still enter. Gammas will, some of them will deposit its energy, some of them will just pass through because they are very energetic.
Tada dudul ani dudul ki ngol twin ki gigu rikshorwa ta digi ngazu lubul kandi nugo res la ban lube nanglo yebe ki chabung din yorwa da chabung din nanglo yebe ki dudul din nyam dol dejo teche han din nugin chor da phena ngazu ki galo da dj la ro cancel gal dj la de dj da din so res ta din ki neba che ki gurim do chorwa ta gurim do chim ba na ta dela kala number ki din nanglo la kazu sim thu yeme da din kala ki dj chiswa alpha beta gamma do chim ba na chi ngwe ni si ba na alpha di nanglo sheda sim thu me je ani simya gi ni ba di ani gamma la cheshe ka ji gyu ni do thu res de me ba ya lung da gurim je su bu nanglo la do ba ba ya na ne se rim ba dia yo do da lo ga do chre da alpha ba ne se che do sto go se so. Okay.
He's saying something extra, right? All the
time. No, because you are saying so long now.
So outside the body, beta and gammas are more dangerous. Inside the body, it's alpha is the like really dangerous thing.
Okay. Ane lubegi chila shawa imbaina beta da gamma di nezi chewa yoresa. Alpha di nezi chuma kajin lawa imbaina lube bakba alpha di tu ka thu yoresa. Ane lube nawa cha shawa imbaina lube nawa alpha di an alpha gi jungun do lube nawa doba imbaina ane nezi chewa jungtu res kajin lawa di gi gedul tuye gi nibadi chewa yoresa.
So natural radiation is everywhere. It can be, ionizing radiation can be natural or man-made. Natural radiation you can get from cosmics, from the atmosphere. We will touch more on it tomorrow. And like from our bodies also have, we cannot be fully free of radiation. There is always some radiation. And from radon, from the soil, rocks, everything, there is radiation coming out. And this is what we will be learning more about now.
Ngazuki geto nanglo rangjungi geto lai churwa di ngazuki kyun yong la kyam ni de yores ta pena cha chaban cosmic light page lungan nanglo la ya rangjungi geto ki chungun din yobachi han so so lubo la ki rangjung geto ki chungun yobachi shingdong la yobachi sa da to na la yobachi ani ta geto danda ngazuki dudul gi ngo la gyurtu ngi ki geto churwa di rangjungi ngo yesigre mi gi seba din ya yesigre yes ta imbe ne tari ngazuki
So, if I can move the slides, yeah. So radon gas. Radon is a noble gas. It's a gas, right? So it's in our home. It's here also. It's there, right? So it's a radioactive gas that occurs naturally in Earth's crust when the uranium in soil and rock breaks down.
Radon la di baina khares la na langsu gi ngoch res di khyo yong la khap de res ngzo gi nang la do tan ta do cha cha bana ngzo thala tan da baina radon gi langsu di yo res ro ta di tsawe gi kawani jungo res la ba baina zambuling gi sashun gi ngwen yungo res ro.
I just want to see if I have that no I don't. Okay. I think you have in your Google Classroom the uranium-238 chain. If you look at uranium-238 chain, you will get radon-222. That's what we will be studying about today.
Tada gala number so gi tanda Google Classroom na la gala gi tanda chikta yola so di na lo la uranium-238 lash doa di segu drudi kable gurim mangbush do doa ti chada lo dina ko yores di na lo la rimbachik na lo la uranium-238 la di radon la gi gas ti gi ngol gu do yores.
And it's mainly radon-222. So radium decays into, radium has a, okay, I should not introduce the word half-life right now. So radium decays to radon.
The minutes on the D gurin now lan culture is lava and radium lady radon 222 lava by na radon gi an digare to dang the check do podul tang the pardu ki tang the dombik to dang di mobile gurba duch den tungo desa.
So radon is in this room also, but can we smell it? No. Can we see it? No. It's invisible, right? And we cannot even taste it.
The radon do cha sha by na nganzu gi thala yebeki and the kangba nanglo la yoresa you might know the tong do desa mindoa num do desa tibanum do desa tong do mindoa and trying you to marisa.
So when radon is released from the ground into the outdoor air, it is diluted and is not a concern. So what it is saying is, like this piece of rock I have in this box, it is very high in uranium and thorium. But, and then it will decay, it keeps on decaying to radon. Every time this happens, every single minute something is decaying, right? So radon is there, but if radon is, if I open the window, it will clear the air. So that's good.
And the radon lash to radon lay the Angadu Sunny or Lungam Nala Lubek Abdullah Kajiris Lavane D and Laru do you. Pena Chacha when a Gela Pagina paid the Camdosh and Dina Lola uranium that in Kira. Ani gejo rangshin de mexaje de ne dinzo radon ngol rimbe gurgi chores imba ina ta giwundo de cheba imba ina di chila tenje ani kap do ora kap do kabla an la do yebach do dinde do cha do ores.
But if we have a confined space is like closed room, like a storeroom or a basement, you cannot open the windows or anything, you will really see high radon levels, especially in the basements. You will see high level of radon.
Tangabu Kangba Jimbaje, Kangba bed Giunda Gochada, Japsa, Jelunchilo, doesn't never do Chimaina, Tindegi Kula, Redongi, Borze di, Mangujo Resa, Penachacha, Mandusa, while a challenge says storeroom Yoroa, Tinedo Chachana, Dinzona Lola, Redongi, Borze di, Mango Yoresa.
So, as we spend, like most of the time we spend in our homes, right, or in our rooms, right? So, monitoring radon and indoor air quality is very important.
Tangatu doji, man, Gaja Gubju doji, now the Diro, Chilo Domarwa. The next on the D. Nedang Abdullah, Ani Kangbe Nala, and Redongi, and Mangning Seshi Dida, Ani Lungi Pise, Dinzuga, the Haguedi, Pimisi Getchimucha race.
So, what happens is, exposure to high level of radon, if we close this room for like months and then we enter, it will really have high radon because of the ceilings like this, the floor, the walls, everything, right? It has uranium and thorium. So if we have high levels of radon, it can, we have the risk of developing lung cancer. So over long periods of time, it's not that one day you enter, you get lung cancer, no. It's like you continuously stay in that house for long period of time, you can develop cancer even if you don't smoke.
Alata Karjula Kamba do Chasha, and to Kamba do Kamba Dawajik score Godasha, Ratumsha, Godasha, Dina Lola Hopta Medziva in Ben, Dina Olio Saba, the Nidukuna Lala, and Getrikita uranium, the theorem led in Yorwa, the Redon Gimol Gurje, and Digi, Lungam Nalo, Redon Borse di Cherudores, Redon Borse di Kazu Cherudoa in Baina, Loagi, Tene Nadi, and Yangachewa Yores, Loagi Tines, Ladu Kalores, Lava in Loa Tini, Redon, Yogo Kangana, Topta Zunitine, and I had in Yomaresa. Curing ne deva imbana, Redon Guringbo, Manzuki dos Redon, Deve Lungam to Guringbo, de deva imbana, di Nagresa. And then on the Tama Tunajibo Mariani, Redon Giguche, and Poagi, Ra, Tine de, Nayoresa, Kemusha Masho Nashi.
So when radon is inhaled, so let's say this room is closed and I come in as I'm breathing, I'm inhaling radon gas inside me, right? Now what will happen? This radon decays and there is alpha decay. When radon decay, alpha is emitted. So alpha is inside my body now. And inside the body, alpha is really dangerous. And we know what happens. Alpha, charged particle interaction with atoms of our lung tissues, right? It will get absorbed there. It won't even go out. Why? Range of alphas in solid like our body, it's very small, 1 to 2 centimeters. So all the alphas will be absorbed in my body. And over time, not in 1 year or 2 years, maybe over a few years, I have high risk of developing lung cancer.
Radon light ngaju lungi gyuje ugtong len chene ngaju ge lowa na la len bai nas lowa na len bai mane di kap kaji la na radon de lowa na la len je di ani ketwe gi segyu doje ko ge alpha gi dul la iswa di chirden chigre sa alpha dul de mangbul le bai na di ge be gi lowa na lo ye be ge phungdup re phungne re tissue la na phungdup ra dik do yes phungdup din zo la ane nigen tangje ane ngazogi lowa na logi ane tine nadi and rimbeji je gali che dos nagresa.
So what it does is actually when these ionizing radiations, when they interact with the atoms in our living cells, it can damage some of the cells. And when you damage their DNA structure and everything, what can happen is many cells are very capable of, fixing itself. But if the damage is done in a wrong way, that leads to cancer.
Ta gedul gi ane ngol gyur thuingen gi geto rangshin chorwa geto rik chorwa ta dinzo gangza khaji ore slawane gesi ngado lubena yobe ge thabun dinzo da dejo chebai man thabuna yobe gi duden da dejo chebai man de khaji ore slawane DNA la sobe gi koba dinzo la ane negen chigo res ro ta dinzo da nganzo gi lube gi thabun cha shamna lube thabun gi rik chi galana so gi negen juma na so gi kalore so
now, how can radon get into my home? I have already discussed. It can go from, let's say you have a basement apartment, right? So it can go from the groundwater. Radon can go in there. Radon in the well water, if you have a well, in the soil, from the soil and everything. So it can easily go into your house from the basement.
Tangazogi kangba rochen kangba nanglo la radon gi langsu chirwa di gandijin zuwo de slawan penacha chawan del de manai sawo gije ro sawo yebe gi chui imba ne sawo yebe thoma insa de dening gi sawo la ta sayorwa dinzo gi gije ne ani leje ani mixe gi kangba nanglo kangba gi ta sawo la kangba yege de ne basement la do dinzo nanglo la ani radon di mangale yo resa.
And don't assume that if you have water, radon cannot enter. Radon is a gas. It will enter the pipes. It will mix with the water, and then when you take shower, you're spraying yourself with radon, right? So.
Again, Kelanabo gisi chuya by man radon meba kaba yomaresa. Radon di langsu resa, di chunyam do deje, roa, and do cheneli res, and a subutuache, roa, and dinyam do radon ele.
So how do we test any room for radon? So all homes, every room has some level of radon. Not every level of radon is bad. If you have low levels, it's okay. So the question is how much is really high level of radon, and the only way is to test it. So how can we know the radon in this room is high? By testing the radon.
The radon lai di khangba chada na yores la the radon takje khandi chikes la radon gi borse radon yoba chamgi ani subol ne ge chigi chaba yomar di borse remba mangbo borse nyingi na subol ne ba yomar esa yam borse mangbo yoba yam subol ne ke sig res ta dine song da nganje ge khangba na lo la radon yome ti ngajo khande takje chikes la di me gi de chigi sa.
So actually I don't know about here in India, but in Northern America you can get test kits available for you to test your radon in your home. So we have already do-it-yourself test kits, or we can hire certified professionals. This will be very expensive. This is cheaper option.
The redon mangi you taji chidan bani yores, the page gala you may have my sons, a page you give my to Tomarwa. So the taji ched in the yores are redon mangu, you are taji church. Yameva in Bena, redon down taji jegi, kilebat in the ketanje, and Kambanala redon mangung got to taji chitu race.
And if you're monitoring radon in your room, just doing it for one day and getting the reading is not good enough. Because radon can fluctuate one day really high, second day very low, or in the middle. So you have to monitor it for at least 2 to 3 months just to see, take the average and see what the radon value is.
The redon taji chiva, man, now redon taji chi, like Nimachik taji chiva, man, paint to a gay or marisa. Nimakashila redon kim borse, the mango you get in Nimakashila, you resa. The next on the redon gi, and Chanyam gaji and borse de kazu dus hagovala, Dawasum stringala mutuji and the taji chin in resa.
So, okay, this we have already talked. This is just if you hire a professional, what they do and all that stuff. If they find like you have high radon level, they will try to minimize it by doing. They have certain techniques with which you can. The easiest way is to open the windows. The quality air will go out, fresh air will come in. It takes about 2 hours or something, but it will go away.
The dinner like Dejuchina Nanshingi, any redon kitchen taji, Kileba de Ketanje, and now la redon taji me, Mangu Metares, redon mango yaba in Baina, New Sedi, Culture Reslan, go the Giunche and Lund, Toba in Baina, and redon the Yunga Chadu Resa.
Yeah, they have only mentioned 3 options here. Hiring a certified professional, they will reduce the radon by 90% in your home, and increasing the home ventilation 25 to 50, which is like opening the windows and sealing the cracks. Even if the floor has some cracks, radon can come from there, right? So you can seal the cracks and everything. That will only be like 15% radon you can reduce. So the radon
new time get tablet remember mangus to the kileba the get down in by now radon get a good juice new down 2 days. The Kangbe Nologi go the given the cheba in by now, the Gurim Jay, redon new time, the judging is tongue and up to che, and sign by the toga in Dilaya, those Sagego in a D Gurim Jay and redon levy of Sonda, and toga in the Java in by now, the Guj, redon chilo tangsha yores.
Okay, so I brought a radon monitor, like do-it-yourself kits I bought from Canada, and I came to Drepung Monastery in February. I installed this radon monitor. This is one of the radon monitors we have. It's also here. And so what it tells us is this is commercially available. You can find it in any stores there. And I bought this. What it does is, you see here green light, right? That means the levels are really good. If you get yellow, it's a warning sign. Red, too high, open the windows, right? So
the D man redon taji jegi, Yoji Trace, Gala page in the Nimanala, the Losiling Siridinekan lanes, did you Gala killings at the D New York Reserva? Honey, Tadi redon taji chidan, the taji chidan by the Pagila, Age Shargudua, Age Jamusharwa in Benanga Yomaresa, Age Sevushawa in Baina, that is Nyanga Yobados, Dados, Tego Resa. And we dig on the carrier, much lower, Marbudos shower in Mana, redon gi borte de mango yevadi, the Radichigo Resa.
So I have, so because I work with the Canadian government, they gave me some flyers to give it to you guys, talking about radon, whatever I explained. So maybe you can, like, it's not 60, they gave me 60, but I could not bring, it's too heavy. So I think you can just have one table, one of this and one of this.
The redon gi page corla the insert gala di chala new duke of Dinyam the detains or took you do the Yuma, the gala number sola, and Tamgi and gala number to see that.
You distribute on each table this one, I will distribute this one. I'm just distributing this. This is just, so in Canada, the levels which are considered up to 200 becquerel per cubic meter is good. Anything above that, you need to bring down the radon level. This is the Canadian guideline.
The Canada charge by Mana redon gadget shorwa. The redon thesis becquerel per minute to Chlaswa. Did this the Nigale Kala gave a Mana, the Kunzogian, Tata Major Stigres, and the Gajan Nigagi, Wara Leg and Peasant Churesa.
And I also, they also gave me the links But this was just colorful, so I thought of bringing some of them. Just couple of them. So I have the links. I can give it to you if you want to see the links. Everyone can get it.
The did number must continue number Target Kajan which is a day 10 that one Gela number to yan see do by Bana, Chain Gela Target Kajan de Tegosa.
Like it depends on the place, like,
Yes.
here in South India, the uranium levels are a bit less, and in Canada, the uranium levels are high.
No. No, I will show you the numbers, what I did. I have one extra, so I can just give it to someone else. So what happens is, what is the next slide? It doesn't work from here. I have to be close. Okay. So the first time, so it was like one of the monk student, Tenzin Legden, he helped me. Thank you, Tenzin. He helped me in taking data. Every once in a while, I will ask him to go. we downloaded the app. It's so easy, just turn it on, put AA batteries, and we downloaded on his cell phone. So every time he will go in the room, synchronize his phone with this, and I can, in Canada, I used to sit and, analyze the data.
Ane Dandadi Tangdo Duechorwa, Redungi and Tangdo Duesto, the Page Gelegdela and Gelala, Robananson, and Gelegdela Kabate, Kawada, and Gelegdela Kabadina Abdo, which is at the Kijani, the Kambana Guijiani, Redungi Tangdo in the Chataloch, Gelal Tanguesa.
So we tried two different rooms. One is the office. I think this is one of your labs here on the other side. Office room at Drepang Science Center. And then we had storeroom, which is just, I think somewhere here, right? Yeah. Which is very closed room. You don't have basements. Otherwise, you would have seen really high radon. But unfortunately, well, it is good. You guys don't have basements. You don't have high levels of radon.
The Redun, the page of Taji said, the and company is not changed at all. Check the page, Taji Kando, said, the Gelegdela Gingo Shigiche. Here is a check the Ani Kambachala Nartaji said, Kambado Chinsara. The Sao Kamba in the summer, the name by now, Redun Giborsi, Hajan Tombutungu Reza. The Gizi Kambani Haguni Gelegdela Jochinas.
So what we did was, when I measured this for 3 months, about 2 to 3 months, every time he will synchronize the data, and I used to see the radon level. It was about 50 becquerel per cubic meter, well below the Canadian guideline of 200, right? So also because the cleaner used to go inside, open the window, so every time the natural, air was passing by, so the levels were really okay.
The Taji, the page Gelag Downy Sum Single Chinsere, Gelagi, Gelegnal, Shu, Gelegnalagi, any Tandadi, Tando di Duja, Patang, the Duke of Tando di la Tava, in Manatando di Nalola, any Tanda di Redon Gitishi Shiro, the and Redon Gitishi Digi, and not just to Lake Dusa, the Canada in Benigala, Dile Pet Maori Shasa. The Dicaran gave Legdela Kanganalo, Kanga Chilo, then you do have Lung Nalota, Lung Chilotan, Dinam, the Redon Nalota, Chilota.
What did he say?
No, I told him that when Gelegdela went inside the room with him, he's bringing in air inside, taking air outside.
So this is I can show you how I used to see the data online, but there is also a way to plot it. So if it shows up on the, okay. So this is the storeroom. Let's get the devices, the office one. I did this measurement for 2 months. Yes, it was for 2 months. You can see the radon level, over time. It was sometimes 50. So, see, it fluctuates so much. It's fluctuating a lot here. First, it was really low, then increased. Maybe someone opened the door here. It was low then. Fresh air went in, right? And then these were really high values. I think about 50. Yeah, 65 becquerel per cubic meter. So these are the radon level in becquerel per cubic meter. This is the normal units we use for radon levels, like any activity, becquerel. We will learn about this on our 3rd day. So becquerel per cubic meter in 1 cubic meter, because this detector assumes in cubic meter of air how much radon is there.
Ta gela danda di dinsu chadan lo shikare dos lava emna changdu du shagyo din sara redon ki borse di changdu du ta di page di takje khang yamena legun di nanglo ki tin sare ta dele si ba imana redon ki borse di kadu imba na tempo jin chikla ni di min do sam par sam chalen takba chi di ores ta bena cha ba imba ne dele suma imba ne di kapdela ani redon ki borse di ani 65 redo becquerel per cubic meter sa per cubic meter lawa ne meter cube lawa emta bongse doj ko ro bongse di nanglo la ani redon ki borse doj ro ta di tishi di ta dang kare me gela ki chen deju chi go sa.
And this radon monitor has the advantage we can also know about the other organic compounds in the room or humidity in your room, temperature in your room. You can see the temperature. First it was low, then it started to increase because this was January time. It was little like, it was good temperature, around 25, and then started increasing. This was, I think, in February. It's really increasing. And now I will show you now how it looks like. It's really high temperature here now.
Ta di beje redon ta je je yo che sto di redon ki borse chi bo memba che sheba ne ju mangbu kudu chi tu ore sa ta bena cha ba yin ba na carbon solong nin den ki borse di che ani sha zen di che an dre di beje di jin da dang bu na la ani len sha yin du ka dre di beje cha nyom bo che sof de do ta dan da do chin ba ne dre di chi le ma yin pe shena so du sa.
And also, this green one means it's okay. Now this monitor is set according to Canadian guidelines, so that means 200. I don't know what the guideline is in India. If you know, let me know, then we can think about that. But green means okay, yellow, like if you can see orange or yellow here, little bit like humidity was like in danger zone, but just a warning. And look at the temperature, because for you guys this temperature is okay. For Canada, this temperature is really getting high.
Ta bena do cha gela number so ta da ne ti gi khado sto di gi kartu ngol ta di gi nyenga che jung do sto ngor jangu do chi man ge man sa ro le relas ta di man sha den ta wa ban jangu nyam dula ma sevo do de do sto ti nyenga yo ba gi da tang go re las ta bena di cha da lo Canada shisha che ani du pap jo ro dine so Canada shisha de wa ban na mon go gi chin da dang ba gi drese di ma or da pe chau re sa nyenga re sa tan da ina da Canada de chu sa man.
In Canada, if we go above 25, we get a warning email that stay inside, it's too hot. But I guess here, it's not the case.
Ta bena Canada chatun ba na ro trese di ro degree ni shu tanga gi ga la ge ba men trese chimbu du nang la chu de len lai re sa da dang re sa ta de le men trese ni tanga de hor min.
And now I'm going to show you, I have a similar radon monitor at Snow Lab. And I will show you how it looks like.
Ta gela gi dan da redon ta ji che gi yo ji sto di ji ba ji gan gela gi pa ta je khang dan da Snow Lab la sto di la yo sa ta di gi nang lo gi tang du di go di kan de shi me gela na ba su le teng go sa.
If it shows up. Okay, let's see, underground. So, this was around the same time, 4th of January. And my student there was always synchronizing, and if you can see here, look at the radon levels. It's always in warning zone and red because we are underground. This lab is 2 kilometers below the earth. We go and work there, but the radon levels, look at that, 134. Sometimes it's like 150 becquerel per cubic meter.
Ta di tang do di gela gi ta je khang pa la Canada le yo di gi tang do din sarwa ta di le si wa yin ban redon gi ga je da sa thum bo de do di gim je ga re san gela ta je khang di sao la kilometer ni ski ro wa do sao le yo re sa ta din de la ta wa yin ba na sao le yin ba son da redon gi bor se di ha jan chen bo re sa ta ma din zo redon bor se chen bo yin ba tyong go re sa.
So now this is 2 kilometers below the earth, but now I took another data. I think I still have that.
Ta di sao gi kilometer ni gi ting la yo be gi ani tang do du sha yo shwa ani gela la tang do shen ba chue re sa di tyong go sa.
This was just when I bought it, I tested it on surface, on our surface lab, like above, like this. And what we see is,
di be ji gela gi sai gang la ro sai gang la ani tang do len sha yo chue ta di tang do.
so look at the radon level, 16 becquerel per cubic meter. The radon level on surface in that environment is less than what you have in your office here.
Ta dinde song the Canada Shasha by Messiah Gala Yubek, and a radon ki portage to the 16 radon per cubic meter to the Mandu Dela Durba in Bana Hajan Chunjuresa, Hajan Uniresa.
So this was just to show you the comparison how underground radon levels can really shoot high and on surface it's less.
Tadi gala number to Pazo Durje and a tanking ochi and Gala Tumba Insa Pena Saula in Baina, Redon Borse, Hajan Chimbo Yobada, say Gala Yoba in Bana, Redon Borse, the Chunju in Badi, the Tangdoni Kuje, Radu Chiva Insa.
I'm trying to log out, okay. Now I will get back to radon Dripang. So after the office, after 2 months of collecting data there, we moved to that storeroom, and I think it will show in few minutes. I will show you the storeroom while it's collecting data. Now,
Tangbo Dawani Ringala and Galagi than the Legundi, I mean the Taji Kandinal, Redungi and Borsedi, Taji Chido, Tujedi, Taji Chido, Digi Chene, Ani, than the Jalan Yarsachisa, or Kambadis, Koja, Dina, or Peva, and dig up the Tango Tungosa.
so because you don't have basement, so still it's like 46. So initially it was high because it was calibrating. But then you can see it's like around 40, between 40 to 50 becquerel per cubic meter in the storeroom. And look at the temperature. Nighttime lower, high, low, high. And this is I think started in May. So you really get high temperature. You can really see all these curves here.
So then on the Redon Borsedi, Kambadinalo, then on the Redon Borse, Tango Tumbo Dosh, the Tuji, the Tiduk of Dick of Ginser. Then on the Changan Do Chacha and Manching of Jugi in Badoche. The D page Chinangawas nine is a D Tuzi Chixidasa.
So what I did was I wanted to see how humidity affects, because humidity can also affect the radon level. So just to explain them what humidity is, let's see.
The Gala Garzos Lava by Shazin Digi and Redon Borse la Shugente two days. The Gala did die Pezun Chins, that then is on the Shazins Lava in Banakandiduchel.
So I think this is what I got from Facebook. You guys have ETSI web page on Facebook, and it gives the definition for humidity and relative humidity. We always go with relative humidity, which is in percentage.
The minutes on the Shazim to go, Shazin later, Lindsay later, Lindsay late. That is Lindsay da, and it took Lindsay late, Gala ETSI, and pay the Tradon Lengo in Sarva. That the Lindsay Lana Karajil Kuimeda, and Tujik Lindsay Lankari, did dinner theory.
So what humidity is? Amount of water moisture. In this air, there are water molecules, but we just can't see, but there is water moisture even in this air. That's why we see humidity here, right?
That means on the Lense Lana Kalawes Lava in Baina, Mazuki Luna Lola, and Chugi Dulgi Borze de la Lense Lagoresa. Tangazuki Tongu Marde in Baine, and to Lungam Lola, Chugi Dul in the Mango Yoresa.
And relative humidity is the ratio between how much water vapor in the air and the maximum amount of water vapor that could be in the air. So what happens is the air can absorb the water moisture. In summertime, when the temperature is high, so what happens is it can absorb the water moisture. That's why we can dry the clothes. It's high heat. It absorbs most of the water moisture from the wet clothes.
Then on the third, then the TJ Lense Lasto, the Gares Lava in Bana, Lunginalola, Chugi Dulgi Borse Chorwa. Dida any lunginal, Treze Tara Chipachigan, and Lunginal, Chug Borse, Manshu the country image. The Benado Chacha, Treze the Kazo Toro Dova in Baina, Lunginal, Chug Borse, Chug Dulgi Borse, Church Roads, Penayaga do Sema to Locam Giva, to Lomba in Gobacam do the Kajin Lava in Baina, Lumbegi, Chugi, Duldin Zoganza, Lungan Dosha Oresa.
So relative humidity is actually at certain temperature, let's say at 30 degrees here or 35 degrees, the air has ability to absorb water moisture, certain amount of water moisture, let's say maximum, I don't know, it could be any number, but how much it actually absorbed divided by the maximum it can absorb at that temperature, that same temperature, that ratio is relative humidity.
That Tuesday lenses Lavan Kala Slava in Bana Lungam Nalola, Tuesday Nijinjila, Lungam Nalola, and a Chugi, Dudul Suzuki, Simia, Sumia, Yamana Yaregi, and Borte Mangshuch Yoresa, Borte Mangshuch. Dita Durveki, Nitila, and a Lungam Nala Chugi, Dudulgi, Borte Chorwa, Dini Pinji Durba in Baina, Digi Durveki Gajadilla, and a Tuesday lenses and Lagoresa.
So, when the temperature increases, I just mentioned that it can absorb water moisture. So the humidity can be higher, but relative humidity decreases because it's absorbing more water moisture from the air. So the relative humidity decreases when temperature increases.
That so the treasure the parva in Bana Lungi, Ane Chugi Dudul Duechorwa, Di Ma Duresa. The so the treasure parva in Bana. Lense di pargi orde imba ina tuje gi lense di chadu oresa tuje kazo parwa imba ina tuje gi lense di chadu oresa.
So I think now we should do an activity. I want to, okay, yeah.
Ta jala gi jego chi insa.
So what I'm going to do is, the data that I showed you, I plotted it because I really wanted to see how it impacts radon level, high humidity. Always remember, high temperature, relative humidity is lower. High temperature, radon is high. Because even the rocks get heated, and maybe the radioactivity is just coming out, diffusing, radon is diffusing out. So that's how we think. But that's not always the case, you will see.
Ta jala gi tangdo dugo di tigri gi ngola par yesa ro. Ta jala number so sembal nye go de khare slawa ne tuje kazo parwa imba na dila pabe gi tuje gi lense le di chadu ores. Imane tuje kazo parwa imba dila gebe gi redon lunga na la ye gi borse di mauru do ores. Ta lunga na la ye gi redon gi borse di da an tuje ngi gi padula durje ro an tigri di jala gi peje tongulas nga normena.
So I'm creating a virtual environment just to plot something. So I'm going to show you the plots.
Ta jala gi tigri na la teni ro tigri nan pap ne tengo sa.
So I collected this monastery data here, monastery latest, and then I had another one, storeroom monastery. So this first one is the office where I collected the data for 2 months, and this is the storeroom. So we just brought this box here today, but it was collecting data for 2 months or so, 1.5 months in the storeroom.
Ta jala gi tangdo di ro Rimbani stores to the monastery latest lady and the Dawachik the Chinese Ringal Dusha Trango to Che and the Wadi than the Chala Narda Chisagi and the Kangbas Nalian the shine as a Tujid. And Tujid Dandana de Kile is a dingin part de Bares, a dinging Tango de Resa.
So this monitor is very easy to operate. It gives me an Excel sheet. And then I can just use this Excel sheet to plot. I don't use Excel to do the plotting. I use Python program.
Ta gela diga ni tangdo le di le law resa ta di ki tangdo ni le kyo cha lo excel na le resa excel na phege na kale ha go ro da excel na le resa excel di an tangdo di tigri ngo ta ya ani gela gi ya app shembach page tang ge software shembach ta di ming di nga phege na ha ma so
I plotted this monastery and I wanted to see just how the radon looks like over time. You can see this here, increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing.
Ta dine so tangdo di tigri ngo la pap je ro an du je gi dubai kap dola redon gi borje la ro duba kande do ye me di tigri na par ye ten ye sa sam par sam cha den do chi go resa.
So then I wanted to see how the radon varies with temperature. So
ta dine so da gela gi chema dila ani tuje gi gurba da ani redon gi borje la gurba kande tig do di an tigri ngo la ten ba yin sa.
See, but then it doesn't really tell me anything. That's okay. So the red one is radon and the blue is temperature here.
Ta dine so da tigri dirda ne ne mix e dine ge ra me do sa yimba ine mawo digi redon gi borje di ten ba che ngumbo digi tuje ten go resa.
Wait a minute, I just want to see what file it has. Yeah, okay. And then I also wanted to check radon with humidity. So red is radon and what happens with high humidity or low humidity.
Ta dine so da gela gi niba de la redon da ani lense le chorwa lense di painzun durba insa ta lense di cheru do yo ba na thoru cha yo na redon gi borse la guba kari do du me an gela gi tigri nam pap shesa.
Okay, so now how I interpret results from here is you can do it various ways, which is it's hard to show it on the screen. We can just go, you will be writing a program. I will give you my code. You will be plotting for the storeroom.
Ta gela gi danda di tigri pap shagesh do din meji khudub kande chigo yo mendi ro din meji khudub chidan la rimba mangbo yo resa ta gela gi code do gela number to te hosa di code di page nami ani gela number to gi neji khudub chi resa.
So when you are given any data, every scientist what they say is what this graph is telling me. So one way we do is I will just not take care, no, I will just ignore the 7 days because it was calibrating, it was adjusting itself to the environment and everything. So initial 7 days. After that, what I do is, it's so big in the screen, I needed a ruler, but that's okay. So let's say radon, this is the temperature decreases, radon is decreasing, increases, decreases, it decreases. So this is how we interpret. You can always on your laptop, put this and see what it is doing with temperature.
Ta gela number to dele si ba imba na namgi ni yo thangdo kare do shrawa na seni ba gi thiba dangbu di kare isla na thangdo di neju kare te gi dulai di resa ra ta bune so da namdu thangdo gi nima ding gi thangdo di an sha sho sa kajin lawa imba na di tuji di ani khuryu la tingur chi la gor resa ra an di gi chena de la tawa imba na gela number to gi gela de so tuji pharwa imba na redon gi borse de pharwa che tuji cha ba imba na redon gi borse di cha ba di tigri na tungu dosa.
But as I mentioned before, that's not always the case. I don't know what happened here. Maybe there was rain, that the temperature really went down about 20 or something, and something happened, but the radon still was increasing. So I don't know if that was something to do with the monitor or it rained, I don't know.
Time by radon karsa di lense di parwa in by radon parwa the lense chawa in radon chawa tapa tigri dina tungu mindosa tapena di wala sagesh dua ta dele si ba in di ka de gela kari chai ma ha ma so peji chawa do tang yin si re tweze de ajang cha dua in by ne radon gi borse di shimaji par di dosa.
So that's always the case. As scientists, what we do is we try to see what's happening, but sometimes what we hear, like, okay, temperature increases, radon should increase, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So just letting you know, if you don't see those behaviors, it's okay. This is the data, real data, what we get.
Ta tangdo dini ni ju kare khodu je de nganzo gi chesha do chi chi yo re ne ta ba nganzo chesha de chi ba chi kya ra yo ba chi khaba yo ma re sa ra ta pe na de le si ba do chi ba na ta nganzo yin ba na tweze phar ba da an redun phar ba tweze cha ba da redun cha ba do chi ni ju chi ngara ju gi chesha do chi ra di ya di na wala din de do chi re men do wa di ba de la ani yin ba ne kha yo ma re samsam din de yung gi re sa.
So what you're going to do now is install Python on your computer. Python is a program, and you don't need to know the program. That's okay. I will provide my data. Even I didn't learn Python. I use ChatGPT, like plot this data. It will give me everything. I paste it, right? And I know a little bit of programming, so I know where the error message is. I will give you the file. You should have files, the monastery data, the CSV files.
Gela number so gela number so gi danda di so gi computer de de kidwa di na lo Python la gi an software di ro an di publish ro chi sa ro an di gi je ani phai di danda nga do tangdo chora di tigri ngo la papdan di an gela gi deju chi sa we gi Python la di ko la gela ge shin ge ba ha gu me sa gela chat gpt pe je dan je di karsa tangdo di tigri ngo pap la ni di pap shak do sa imbai ne gela number so danda di
So that's
Python ga ji.
That's the fun part of artificial intelligence, right? You don't need to learn anything. You will get the data.
Ta bune so the computer things are yarge chin je ta so la ge chu na kan sa computer gi chi shak re sa chat gpt. Oh.
So now, you don't have to log into ChatGPT. I have given my
Chat
code to you.
GPT da chat gpt lo le namasta Python download chi la ta.
So this is the monastery latest.csv file, and then there should be another file in your Google Classroom, storeroom monastery. The monastery latest I just showed you. You guys have to do the storeroom monastery.csv file.
Tangdol mini the monastery latest lies to the Chiu Marilas, Google Classroom Nalola, monastery storeroom
No one
lies,
has Mac.
and Tangdo Chisa. One day I think all father is.
These instructions are for Windows. I'm not a window person, so I had to write the whole cheat sheet. Again from ChatGPT, how to install Python. I'm a Mac person. I can help the Mac people here. If you have Macs, right? So I can help them.
The Gala teaching takers to the window Nalola, Python, the public and the CM, Digi, and the Lamden Roach in Zarda. The Apple do Nalola, the Roach, you do not Gelagora Kisitive and Gelagora Love Goza.
Okay, you have Mac, good. Oh, he has it, right? Just try to follow the instructions. If you can't, ask me.
The Gelana was a dinner, Lamdu Stendo, Dishisha Judarwa, and near Doresa. Is it how going to Gelal Gizit, the Gelagi, and Geshichosa?
Data is right. This office one I showed different one, so that one is not the right one. But so I think the one I showed you earlier is the one from storeroom. So now you know how to interpret. I mean, like I'm sorry you could not download it because everyone is downloading at the same time. The net is very, very slow. So, but this is what it is. And as you can see, I think probably it rained on June 1st. I think I did ask Tenzin if it rained, and he told me it rained. So I know that's why the temperature was a little lower at this point.
The basic down to sour, the Gela public security, Dana Redwa, and Gela Mancho, and the public chiduman gamer page, internet go to Laswa. That the down to Siva and the Chinda to wait the rich angel, Masa Gostua. The Garis Lavan D. Angel, a page Chawa Gangs, a Gelilla, Kejishij, Kejla, Chow Gaslame, Gaslisa.
So just to keep you in the, what happens is when temperature increases, normally what we will see is radon level is high. And on your laptop, whenever you have time, you have done everything, you can always put a piece of paper just to see what's actually happening, right? So actually I can see here, let's say this guy, right? So radon increases. This is showing humidity increases, or maybe this guy. It's with some delays. That's always with the thing with detectors. You will not really get exactly what you are supposed to get. Sometimes it fluctuates. The things can fluctuate. This is but real data, what we see in our detector here.
That Gunde Gadu in Bashana, Lense de Parva in Bana, Dinam de la Redon, Borse de Pargi Oresa. Tagala number to computer and see you when a Shudu Shan Seva in Bana, di Pargi in Bana, Redon Borse de Pargi in Bana, Lense de Pargo Resa. In Bana, Cabra Gabriel Tara and Chungu Maresa. That Tango Tara Relas. Then sometimes young sea resa.
So now, what I did was, I was not seeing really high levels. So I was talking to one of my colleagues, and we decided to bring a rock from Snowlab mine. We have a nickel mine where Snowlab is under, like 2 kilometers under the earth. So I brought some rocks here, and then I put the rock. This is one of the rock. It's really very high in uranium. I will get like 1,000 radon atoms in 1 second. It's so high. Then we place this rock close to the detector. We put that in a box and then covered it so that radon doesn't go out. It just is in that box and the monitor will just detect it. But what
Shall I translate first?
Yes.
That Namgi in the radon ke borse di tanda the storeroom di chashavan radon ke borse di chempo dinde legmindwa. Dinde sonda gelagi pay Canada ne gelagi taje khani and do dinde di killing isa. Do dinde di rig na karo la pay bana uranium like gedo rangshi de be taje dinde yoresa. Dizona radio ke borse garsa di. Gedo borse shuk chempo di radon tham chigna dinde la leg resa. That di pay di kam dinala look. So you could see that the radon level stayed pretty much 50-50 becquerel. But at this point, yesterday at 10 a.m., we both went in the storeroom. We placed these rocks, and you could see it just goes down. The radon level just went down. I thought it will just go high because it's so high in radon. But now, yeah, you can translate. Tagala number Payala Siva in Bana, the radon, the Borse, the Tuorda, Mancha, and Manachangan, Shingarjum of Jurdua. Tao won the Chuchua seeing to a Gelada, Gelade, Payatajakana, Chi, and the redon ki borte mangbu yebe ki to de phagila shawa insa shawa imbana gyunje imbana shimaji pargo relas ro imbana di cha sonsa.
So what I am guessing is what happens, again, this is an example where what I thought is not happening here, right? So even I called one of the scientists, like, this is what I'm getting. I was supposed to get high radon. And we both then like decide, like, what's happening is maybe, I'm not sure. As a research scientist, we do research. We have to interpret, and every time we are not right. So we are just making, you know, our results. So I think what's happening is, this was a closed box, right? And this rock that I brought, it was like about 1 kg or something. That was not enough to produce really high levels of radon. But I really could not bring 7 kg of that rock in my suitcase. So I would be stopped by customs, right? So 7 kg, it was already very heavy. So I think it was just not enough rock sample to produce that or to see that high level of radon.
Tagla redon ki borse dua di chawa dua ta ngoi ni tula di pargo ya do chwa di chawa do dua di chawa gi ni ji kan de jungi me kela gi khase ma jun ani kela gi rokba din Canada ta je khang la gi rokba din la ani phone ta wa yisa tham tham ni de yong si re sa so so chwe sha shi sung ji je ni ji ma le ba ro ta di seri gi nyam shi gi gyurim chi re la so ta kela gi chwe sha che wa yin ba ni di ma cha go gi gum de ga de san kela gi do ki go di kilo chi ki dua tadi do di nung da yin sig re la peje kilo duis ro ki ba imba na an redon ki borse de mangbu nye sig re sa imba ni kilo duin ki do di ne ki do na nam da gela ka nyi ga re sa.
So again, I'm not sure if this is the reason. The other reason I could think of is, we just started this yesterday. It needs maybe more time for radon to decay and produce alphas, enough alphas that this detector can be sensitive to.
Ta gela gi chik chesha ga ji ures la ba imba ta dile du ju tis manga te go sig re la gela dangoran kile dangoran ta je chura ne ju dra mi do dile tis du ju kho wa imba na rimbe ko segur ke je ani alpha gi dul din to ga za le de tang che ani rimbe di redon gi borse di farsi re sa.
So I'm going to open the presentation again. So how this radon detector actually works is, so these were the two, like, probably what's happening is these two options I thought of, but I don't know. I need to give it time to collect radon data, but we have opened the box many times now, me and him, so, but that's okay. So what happens, you can see the dots here. I will ask you to come one by one, like group, and I can show you. There are pores here. So when air, radon from in the air that goes into these pores, right? So then it goes inside. Then that radon will decay and alpha is emitted. This detector is sensitive to alphas. And I will talk more in detail, maybe I think tomorrow, how this detector knows there is an alpha event or something, right? So
ta gela gi redon gi sorje di gi lega chidan kanderes la ba imba na gela number 2 si ba imba na redon gi sorje di ga la igun chunji din mangbu do igun chunji din de gi gyu je ani lungam na yo be gi redon din do ga di na lo ju gu yo re sa di na la ju sa we che redon di secure tip du kabla alpha gi dul di lo de chi re sa di gi tabe gi sorje di gi kar chor tu gu yo re sa na alpha gi dul di chor tu go re sa di gyurim che ja ani redon gi borse di se je tu re sa.
So when it detects alpha, in that chain, I can show you, I can pull up the slides. In that chain, there are 3 alphas after radon. It decays to something, polonium, 1 alpha is emitted. Polonium decays to, I think, bismuth or something. Again, another alpha. So in total, when radon decays, 3 alphas are emitted. And this detector looks for the combined energy of these 3 alpha. That's when it will say, okay, 1 count for radon atom.
Tanda redon segur te dan sto di kapla alpha leden che dan rimba sum sto legu sarwa inde son da tangbu segur te di go polonium la de ngol gur di jena alpha kar du chigle an alpha rimbo sum sto legu gurum je ani dishine sort huye sir tadi moy mangbu she jero na gur tu.
So
eje da di dara segur te dan gi gurum chwa di dara re do.
So this rock that I put, it's high in uranium and thorium, very high. It's from the mine, right? So it's decaying, then radium, right? It stays as radium, like, I have not taught you half-life, but soon I will. So for 1600 years, this radium will stay in that sample, 1600 years, so.
Tadanda di secure tepan chorwa. Di secure tepan de tangbo di kalon uranium da thorium la de ngol la yoresa. Ta dine rimbe ki secure te chero alpha dulle ba da beta dulle ba che secure te che han dama radium la de lig relas. Radium la de le kapla gelam ki tanda ngodu chime che se duin la isto. Chega sele duin gande kazu gurgu me. Ta pena radium do china di ki che se duin di logic don to get resa.
So after radium, it decays to radon. So from radon, decays to polonium, alpha event. Alpha, 1 alpha. From polonium to lead-214, second alpha. Then there is beta, beta. Then polonium-214 decays to lead-210, third alpha. So these are the 3 alphas that are emitted after radon.
The radium la di tadi radon ngol gurgudwa. Tines on the day cup de la alpha rimbasum liurla sir. Rimbasum di gande de lawan de tambo radon ni polonium lebe kapdula alpha rimbachik che polonium ni lead la lebe kapdula. Shane lagwa dilu du gar rimbachik che din beta ni new beta ni lede che and then karbula ro ani alpha slugda. Di alpha di chik ni sum di alpha rimbasum di chawo resa.
And we know the energy of these alphas, right? So we can, it sums up, average the energy, and this detector has a code written, software written, that will say, okay, if this is the energy, that means 3 alphas emitted, 1 radon atom. So radon atom decayed. So that's how we get the radon levels here.
Tines on the alpha di sum ligdwa. Di nibad hagura, di chanyam nibad dombe kala, and gajures lawana radium gi duden chik, segu drova de ngazu hagurelas. Tines on the di chanyam gi nibadi, and ti kabegi gurum cheja, and kogi alpha karsadi, radium gi dul chik, and segu debadi, and kogi sortu yoresa.
So I think now, if you want to come here, I think every group can come one by one, and I can show you just it's how the radon.
Magala namatu ruga rare isle nan di pagi radon ki sorje digla chidan diani siga pena tigre esa. Ah.
He has a question?
Chiva no.
So this is the radon monitor, and you can see the ports here. So radon from the air will go in here. And the detector inside, it's a radon detector. I will talk about it next, like tomorrow. So that radon that goes in, it decays and alpha is emitted. And that is what we see. Look here, it's orange because it was closed. If I let it open for some time, open the windows, it will turn really green in color. Right now it's giving me warning sign. If you put it in a closed room, never open that room, it will turn red. That means it's high. So that's all. And these are the rocks from Snow Lab, sorry. This is not enough rock. Which group? Okay, so as you can see, so this is the radon monitor.
The radon surjegi and tuje the resa.
And what you see here is these are the pores. So radon from the air will enter through these pores. And there is a detector inside it, a small chip that will detect alphas. Right, so that's how they say, okay, 3 alphas are emitted. Now you know why I'm saying 3 alphas. So these 3 alphas, then that means 1 radon atom.
Alpha sum lashto di gumzen gares laban alpha sum lodin chibegi cheni and shini radon la segur thidwa tines on the alpha sum lodin chiri lawai man radon duden chik segur drovada.
And again, these are the rocks, but it's not really. It's not really enough. Yeah. If we have some radon source here, like the tube of the tires, that tube inside,
yeah,
I think it will be really high in radon. Just put it here and.
Radon ki jungun dinde yoba imba nan radon mangu sortu le penang azu ki gari nanglo ki ani tube chdoa tube nakosh doa di bana redon gi jungu shuk chembo chirela di dinal lu wa bana redon mangbu tung resa
Yeah, so that's all we have.
tara yin so his question is like through these pores only radon will enter into the detector or
The air goes in,
Lungi
and
too.
then the air goes in, so the radon is in the air. So this is how the radon monitor looks like. Yes, yes.
di radon sorje gi lawa chidan resa
So these are the pores, right? So the air goes in from here.
lung
Oh,
lung gi gune igon din zo nanglo la
On
ani
radar. I don't think so. on radar.
lung igon din gi je ani sorje dig nanglo do resa
So the air will go in from these pores. That means radon also went in. Radon will decay into decay, and alphas are produced, and we know that 3 alphas are produced. It will sum up the energy of those 3 alphas, and then there is a chip inside. It's the detector. We will talk more about it tomorrow. That detector will detect, oh, I got 3 alphas of this energy. That means there was 1 radon atom.
ta di lawa chidan kan res la bai lung la la ani lung gi nyam du la radon de nanglo zero wa ta radon secure te la ka ju la alpha rimba sum lo do alpha rimba sum gi dombe gi nibash do di sorna ani shine ko radon secure de yo ba de ko gi sortu resa so ko gi alpha de sortu resa alpha sum chi do di sum sortu wa imana radon du de chik secure do yo ba di ko sorgo resa
And then these were the rocks, but still it's not enough.
ta
So
de do de re page di nyong dai se resa to bo
if I bring like full half of
It
this
shares
and
to
put
it.
radon, then you will really see high radon here.
di to chegas to kan ni kile bai bana radon gi borse mangu thong sig resa
And also this detector is just for measuring the room air, but the detectors like what we have, I will show tomorrow at Snow Lab. These are professional grade monitors. You put this, even this rock, you will get 1,000 radon atoms in 1 second. So much. But this is not.
di sorje sto di mang che ngara su khang ba na lu gar do ta sorje nembo de go do na kela gi baje ta je khang de na sorje nombo de yo se di dam de do de chun chun de sha wa me ren pe on sor tu de sa
Yeah, so that's all.
ta ra yin sa
What if the rocks get wet?
Oh, good point. I didn't introduce that point. That will be humidity. If you put a bowl of water, a glass of water in here, you are faking the humidity, right? And close the box, there is humidity, like stickiness, right? So that might also change. That's also another thing we wanted to do. So maybe we will do it
di
in the
chung
longer
sig
term.
di len se di par gi la humidity la len se di ta chuna de bai ban lung na lo la ni chu gi dul yi ba chi do di gi de jik ba jik ji di na chu sha bai ban di len se gi mu par gi do ni len se da radon gi
High radon. Okay.
radon shuk chembo do sa mau de da
High uranium.
We counted it in one of our detectors. I will show you the detectors tomorrow. That's why I'm asking you, ask as many questions as you can from that scientist who will be there tomorrow, right? So we all are part of the team. We bring this kind of samples underground, put it in our professional grade counters. Soon you will get like radon level. So
tak sangi gela robust le la so dile tiwati na tigre la ko do ruga ching na la da chi chi sara andine so da phagi gi sorje do chi mane to chi ji do chi le bai mane sorje no bo yo so sa redon shuk chem pu sor tu re sa na sangi di da ge tiwa khari yo bai mane gela robo del ki je tin tigre sa andine ga kile
Thank you.
bai
and see now you can see it's red.
ta da da bai na mau do tu do redon borje mangbo yo
Maybe because the room was, this bin was closed, there was no radon. I opened, maybe this room has radon.
ta di kha dam shati kabla ya redon chen do ya ta ina kha che ro lungam na redon mangbo shue se le dinal mau tu do ana redon mangbo le does it have any effect when you wave your hand
No, so this is just to show you what the color code is, nothing more.
ale di ta sendo di kari me te che dure ma shamba ge kuch mare
So apparently what I see here is,
gela number so zero
so just letting you know that when the bin was closed, that box was closed, I was seeing like yellow color. That means just warning sign for radon. I have opened the box, it is red in color. I don't know, maybe the radon level in this room is higher. It's showing really red.
tare dinye la yo redon da the gamdana do the sha kha ja sha ba na
It's right.
ji ko kha to se ma to tung da di ki da do ste wo ba
Like-
nga
like
da do ste wo ro di ma te ma ni ba na kha che ba na di ka bla kha to ma tung du las di ne so da redon bor di che mo tung wo ro di ne so da rom di ki lunga na ro redon mang bu ye sa
That's why.
ta redon do lu me wa koncho
So maybe I think you guys never open these doors enough. That's why I mean, I think you guys didn't see, it's really red in color now, so. Maybe the radon level is high here.
ya di ka sa di nga zo de sa che ro rom di ki go da gi gun di mang bu che ye sa ma re sa di ke be ga ni redon mang bu shu do sa
So, I think you are the new group, right? So what happens is, these are the holes that you see, right? Pores. Air goes in, right? So with air, radon will also go in. Radon we have seen in the decay chain, after radon 3 alphas are emitted. So there is a chip, a detector, that will detect, oh, I got energy of this alpha, that means average of all the 3 alphas, so that means there is 1 radon atom. So that's how there is a software written already. So then it will say, okay, 1 radon atom, 2 radon atom, 3. So that's how it says. So these were the rocks, right? So, but still it's like you can see, right? It's not enough. If I would have really filled it with half of the box, you can really see the radon. So there. Yeah, you can touch it. It's normal stone from the mine. It's high in probably nickel, uranium, and thorium. It's really high. It's very high. I don't know why it doesn't show here, because I should have brought 7 kg of that rock, right? But no. This is from the mine. It has nickel. You know how we get nickel out of this rock. I'll just remove this.
lagina khara khara mere he's telling that shall we have to put